also a very special guest. Special for a few reasons. One of them being that she's the first female guest that we've had on the podcast, which is something that I've really wanted to do. And not just the first female guest, but also a female artist within the community that has been doing amazing things for a long time, is such a positive role model, not just for other females coming up within the scene, but any artist. It's awesome to have you. Thanks for coming on, Denni. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thanks. I'm hyped. It's
Really
been
lovely.
Yeah. No, it's how you been?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good. Busy.
Mm.
Happy. Tired.
Yep.
I'm a mum now.
Yeah. I mean, that's congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
wild.
huge.
Yeah.
We had this on our list to unpack kind of further on in the conversation, but I feel we could.
let's
How's
just
that
get into
been?
it.
That's a massive.
Massive, man. I'm just like so honoured to be Leonie's mum.
Mm.
And it's crazy because it's just like my brain's changed, my body's changed, like my wires have changed. And like coming into I'm in my 30s now, and my brain changed then too, I think. And there's some perspectives I think you don't reach until you get to that point of the climb, It's like there's no point for you to think about it or your brain to like take up that space until you get there. And there's lots of stuff. You make peace with things. A lot of things come up becoming a parent because it's just like time's precious, lad. So that's sort of it's a bit more tactical at this point in my life, which feels weird, man. I feel very adult.
Yeah. What would you say that the biggest changes have been that you've noticed, I guess, within yourself? Obviously, the transition to becoming a mother is massive, and I could imagine there would be a lot. But what are the main sort of changes that you have seen?
Probably the biggest one and like the easiest one would be responsibility. And I think that's like it's a cool thing to talk about in regards to music because like when you're in it and you're pushing your own canoe along, it's a bit like this is the most important thing, like, and now it's like it's kind of not. And I sort of grieved a bit of time where I maybe sacrificed a lot of stuff or just like family gatherings or different things because I was like on the hustle. And I suppose like you got to put the groundwork in, and I'm in a deadly point where I'm watching that groundwork, those roots blossom a bit, which is sick.
No, it would be such a.
But it's humbling, man. Like giving birth, it's like
It would be wild.
go back to being an animal, and you got to surrender a little bit. You gotta just take it day by day, and that's cool. I think because maybe before Leonie, I could probably ponder the past a lot more. I'm a deep thinker. I'm a creative. That's why I've like gotten into it because I'm a deep thinker. I need to have extra tools to process the world and to get on with my shit and regulate my shit and hell wear my heart on my sleeve, and I always have. And I'm a very private person, really. Apart from what I put out in my art, and I get more honest as time comes along too, which is confronting because it's just like it's when I met my partner, the right person, and it was like in the past I'd even told my mum, like I think when I was 18 I was like, no chance getting kids out of me, mate.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Made her cry, and I was like so horrible.
Yeah.
And things lock in when they do.
Yeah.
And you can't control everything, and especially the heart when you feel that things are right and right timing. And I'm glad I waited to this age too to like be probably a better version of myself. And I take bringing a person into this world pretty bloody seriously, And so I'll keep going with the music for as long as it's given us something, and I feel like it's good to have those goals too, of just like having something to aim for. Probably outside of being a mum now.
That's really cool. You spoke about just then how you noticed your art has kind of changed, and you said it was in a more truth way. Do you think it's also a bit more of like a vulnerable way now that you've
100.
Yeah.
Yeah, never been so vulnerable in my life.
Yeah.
Like, hardcore, and you know, it's very much it feels like a blossoming, and I probably feel more aligned with that sort of like, you know, feminine side of myself as well, that sort of just come with time and age and coming into womanhood and you know, just like what it means to be a mum in the industry too, or a parent. You know, it's not just mums, it's dads, it's grandparents, it's extended family, you know, and it really takes a tribe. And, you know, I can have quite a small bubble because obviously what we do for work is, you know, is the social thing, and you go out and you're on and you meet people and you give them your time. But it's like when I'm not that, I'm in my bubble for sure, and like going to the river and hanging with my family and my dog and trying to write rhymes.
Well, that would be hard, wouldn't it?
It
And
would be a hard
Herman and I
balance.
spoke about the balance
Yeah,
shift.
the
And
balance
you
would be
mentioned it just
crazy.
before about how, you know, when you're on that grind, it is very like, this is the tunnel and there's the light and I'm just going straight at it. But now you've really got to start to balance and shift. And I can imagine that would be one of the...
Do you feel like the creative time would be a bit more disciplined sort of thing? Because I know like my creative time is so sporadic. Like it's 3 a.m. There's a rhyme in my head.
Yeah.
I'm throwing away the whole night's sleep. Fucking I'm doing it, but you've got a
It's so
child
deadly
crawling
to be-
half hour later. So it's like, are you gonna write the rhyme off it? You know, like how's that balance?
But I love that rawness. Like, I fed off that rawness for so long that, like, I didn't realize how chaotic my life was. Like, I was so used to that. Like, my baseline was just like, it was up here all the time, just like, and bull of the gate, like, definitely. And so it's not like I've checked myself, but I've definitely you know, people that I've seen go before me, and I may have been a bit more green and like, let's do it. And I could see why now their approach is a bit more. It's like after you've, you know, jumped off the jetty a few times and you land it wrong, you might be a little bit more, you know, just like, I don't even want to be cautious anymore. It's more just like, say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah.
You know, and I've like got no other place but to tell my story in my songs, or as an artist think what would be cool on stage, like what would be a cool live experience after that. Because probably my background the most has been live performance, and then over time building a larger sonic sort of soundscape to help lift the visions. Because back in the day when I was just playing 3 chords and sort of cruising around the country, you know, getting booked on punk lineups and singing like full-blown country songs and just like whatever,
Yeah.
you know. And now it is a lot more, I can see the vision a bit more.
Yeah. And did you start like with country sort of music?
100%.
Yeah. And what was the transition to then now being so multi-genreified? Is that even a word?
Yeah.
It is a word? But
Yeah.
just having... Yeah, and then even the hip hop and everything else that you've done from country, like that's a huge shift. What really kind of sparked that?
Yeah, huge. Definitely like when Old Town Road come out, I was like, no.
No.
There it goes.
I remember that song. Yeah.
I think it's just like I've always been really one for story, and like just, you know, the Paul Kellys of the world and the Tracy Chapmans and like the old storytelling, you know, Dolly Parton, just like rattling off some OGs. But it's like in whatever format that is now, like after now sort of feeling like I've studied music for a good while, it's like I don't want to genre smash. I just want to show how it's about story no matter the genre. And I think poetry was probably really the heart, because that's when I had nothing, not even a guitar. It was poetry, you know. And I remember just sort of doing some poetry stuff locally, and then sort of realizing, I'm writing bars. and sort of like realized like, oh, this isn't just poetry. Like if I put a chorus there, that could actually, and then meeting the right people, and that's really what helped, is like when I was able to articulate things that I could hear to other people and learnt to collaborate, and that really like just elevated everything from busking to like, you know, years later finally being in studios. And remember the first time, shout out Madam Pakana, recording me in youth studio in Glenorchy, Pulse Studio, and it was called Rabbit to the Bird. It was like a 4-chord song, and we recorded it, and then he put reverb on it, and I was like, what is that? And I was like, in my 20s, man.
Yeah,
I just like, and he, you know, he let me artistically choose that I had way too much reverb on there than needed, and he sort of sat back and let that be, but it was like, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then it was like a key, and I suppose that sort of talks back to your question. It's very much been a crumb trail. I've never like stepped into something being like, this is exactly what I'm doing. Just sort of like fell into stuff, and then it landed, and I've kind of like just figured it out a little bit. And it took it took ages.
Yeah.
Spit flying, it took that long. Like, yeah, I think even working in theatre helped me, because I just like had to learn to be a team player with something that felt really vulnerable to me. You know, sort of where I grew up as well, it was a bit more sporty and stuff, and you didn't really tell people you thought you were good at something. It was a very vulnerable position to do that. And so singing was like never on the cards at school, man. Like, no thanks. I did dancing, public speaking, like everything around it, but not a chance.
Yeah.
And it's like I sung for the first time in front of my family and friends at my 21st birthday.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of the weirdest things. And there was like when I booked the venue, they were like, oh, that's cool, you can have your 21st there, but there's like a country band playing. I was like, sick. And they were called like the Corn Cobbers or something. Really cool. He had like a tambourine shoe and one of those sticks with all the bottle tops, and they were like, wicked. And so I rang him, and I was like, told him about the party, and I said, you know, this would be weird, but halfway through the night, when you feel like, and if you remember, can you say we want to invite our mate Denni up to sing a song? And so I sort of crashed my own birthday and got up.
Did anyone know?
No,
It was just a complete surprise.
100% surprise. And like, long story short, I got up there and like stomped my foot and sung this weird poem about being a whale in a fishbowl.
Right.
Because the smoking room at my local pub was called the Fishbowl, and it was so out there that a lot of people that were close to me like got really emotional and stuff, because they felt like they didn't know me anymore.
Yeah.
And then I sort of left and went and pursued what I was doing, but I actually lied to everyone and said I was gonna go and pursue tattooing.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Just ended up getting covered in tattoos off my cousin and busking on the streets.
Was that, so that was in like Tassie, like
Yeah,
here?
in Tassie, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
In Lonnie.
Yeah. Mad. That's such
It's a wild way to spin around 21.
Yeah. So, but before that, obviously you'd been writing poetry and singing and stuff, but just not publicly or like sharing that with.
Yeah, not really. Like I'd write some poems and stuff, and there'd be these sort of like creek parties locally, and I'd go down there and I'd just sing along to songs that they'd play, like just music. And a few people commented like, oh, you've got a good voice. And then so, you know, and I'd be drunk out of my mind and I'd be singing these weird songs, and then, you know, like, and I remember we had a party at home, and one of my mates, like I was just singing along to like Casey Chambers or something, and they fully looked me in the eye and was like, Denni, I think you can sing. And I remember getting properly angry at them and being like, shut up, and swearing at them and stuff, because I felt really exposed. And weird.
So do you think that moment when you got up at your 21st was like that leap into like owning that and really coming into it. And then from
Definitely.
there, that's when it kind of, you're like, all right, I'm going to take this serious and I want to actually express this outwards to people in my life.
Yeah, definitely. I think because it came with like being a private person, just like talking about anything that could reveal how I was feeling, I felt. And I think a lot of people feel like that. But I've had issues with anxiety for as long as I can remember. And I've dealt with that in various ways. And the best way has been through music. And so it's like, and I remember early times like spewing and stuff before and after getting on stage, like no matter if I'd had 20 beers or not, like it was just such a journey every time. And it was so emotional. And like, especially when I was playing acoustic music, man, it's like you'd be in a pub full of people having their best time and, you know, play some Slipknot and play Wonderwall. And,
Yeah, God.
I'm trying to
I'm trying to do my
tell
thing
you
here, guys. Listen to me. Yeah.
So, you know, I think there come a point where I just was like, what I was hearing and feeling, I couldn't quite do it yet. And so I sort of tapped out for a bit and just went on the cruise and did a lot of just, you know, handshake stuff like, oh, I heard you can do this. Can you come play here? And, you know, I'd get some cash from that one and that'd pay for the next one. And like this whole time I was like living in my van, you know, and living with different family members and stuff around the island. So it was very much a lifestyle.
Is that how you started, like, slipping into, like, the festival slots earlier on and stuff, like Party in the Paddock and all that? 'Cause you were doing that earlier in your career as well, weren't you?
Yeah, it'd be like, we're talking like decade
Yeah.
sort of thing, but they're good mates of mine, family, friends. And so, you know, I think even being around other, like, people my age at the time that were really activated helped drive me a lot too, because like just it felt like a new world, a new a new world. And festival stuff, like remember early on when I recorded this Rabbit to the Burb and it won. We put it in for a Woolworths competition and it won. And the housemate I was living with, she worked at Woolies, and so we like uploaded it, and it won. It was like got played in every Woolies around the country like for ages, and APRA got a hold of me because it was just like a really random thing. Not many people in Tassie, I think at the time, were really like aware of APRA and stuff, even unearthed and that, like, or not the people I was around. And
people are still a bit tapped out of like the opera stuff and whatnot.
And so I think they were sort of pushing that. And so, someone got like directly in contact with me and they sent me up to Brisbane to Big Sound. And I didn't play or anything. I went as like a delegate and I had all these meetings. And I remember one was about merch and they could have been quite serious, but I was just so green. Like I had no idea. And I was probably so rude to people. Like, following having a conversation about merch, and it was like a legit company, and he's like, you know, what merch would you want? And I was fully invested in like toe socks and scratch and sniff stickers, and I was just being such a wanker. But I got a lot out of that one because I got to see like Casey Chambers and Gurumul do like a Q&A, and like these were
that's huge.
people I idolized, you know, and I remember I couldn't like attend the rest of the things I was meant to do that day because I just like cried. And cried. And I went back to the place I was staying and like recorded a song on my mate's little recording thing he had and then filmed a thing on my GoPro, and that was the first video I put up on YouTube, and it was all just like handycam stuff from my GoPro and my trips around, and so from that then I got to go to like Woodford Folk Festival, and that's a huge event, man, and that was like pre-COVID times, and it was like 100,000 people over a week would go to this site.
Wow.
And I'd never left the country. I'd never like even had in my sight that I could like go traveling or anything like that. Not outside the country. And I went to Woodford, and that just like that probably changed my life. Like there was from like Tibetan monks to like Matt Corby and
Yeah, wow.
That's a variation of people.
you know, but I just remember the first day that was like because I was doing some stuff. I think I was running like the open mic. It was like I got a job like within the festival. And I was running like an open mic thing, and then my mate Jade, she came and she got a job, but she ended up getting a better job than me, and it was like hell funny because she wasn't into music, and so she ended up being like a personal assistant for like quite a renowned Aboriginal artist. And so next minute we're like in these buggies with, you know, all these song women from up north making our way to the amphitheatre, and then we're like out the back of the stage while there's 40,000 people, and I've just found myself in this like the craziest experience I'd ever had, you know.
That's nuts.
And then next minute, like Matt Corby's sitting next to me, and I'm just there like freaking out, going, wow, you know, I've sort of made it. And that was back then of just feeling like I'd looked so long for, I don't know, an alternative to what I was doing. And festivals became that. And yeah, Party in the Paddock, early days, and we worked on that for a while, and just so so proud of that mob because it's like now it's a staple event for Tassie.
One of the only ones that are still kind of kicking it really hard, like the larger scale ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've done really well to do that because it's hard to do that here. So
100%. Yeah, and it's like, you know, RIP Falls. I did 7 years consecutively at Falls, and like one of my games was like to get up on the. There was like a deck on the main stage, but like on the actual stage, and I'd get up there for countdown, and I got up there every year, and I'd be up there, you know, waving at my mates like, ha.
That's sick.
Love Falls, and that was probably a bit of a stomping ground for me too. Like, learning that, like going from the local stage to like the field stage, which was really sick, and then I got I won an Unearthed competition with like one of the first electronic tracks I'd done with the producer Afa, and she's based in Melbourne, and I was sort of between Adelaide and Tassie, and so my profile Unearthed still said Adelaide.
okay.
And Truwulway rang me asking if I wanted to do an interview, and they were doing some stuff in Adelaide. And I said, oh, that'd be sick, but I'm actually on Cape Barren Island. I'm in the Bass Straits. And they were like, oh, you need to change your profile location. And so I did, and unknowing to me, that automatically put me in the running for the Falls competition because I had tracks uploaded. And so I'm sitting in the car park at Coles, and they've rang me again, but I didn't know it's come up on a private number, and I nearly didn't answer it.
Yeah.
I thought I owe someone money.
Bro, I never answer private numbers. Not even if they're saying.
Amount of opportunities we may have lost because of these.
Yeah, and I remember her being a little bit disappointed with my reaction because I was held like a bit anxious. I was like, hello? And it's like, oh, it's blah, blah, blah. I was like...
Was it live on the radio as well?
I don't remember. I don't think so. Because it would be great to go back and
Yeah,
hear it.
listen to that.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, it's blah, blah from Triple J. And I'm just like, yeah, cool. You know, and yeah, and I'd won to like open up Falls Festival.
Oh, mad.
And it was huge.
Mm.
Yeah, really huge. But I was like, I had like a death in the family that week, and I had to speak at a funeral, and I remember just being in a pretty gnarly spot again and sort of being like, oh, here's this moment again where it's like, I feel like this is my pinnacle, you know, like Triple J's asked me, I'm here. And I got way too many people tickets. Like, it was a really big crew. And then I sort of remember playing the set and feeling like, fuck, I'm a rookie here. You know, I'm on the main stage, and I've seen
That's
like
huge.
Hilltop Hoods and like, you know, like huge bands here. And it was a hard slog, man. Like, I remember the band playing Next, who were like a legit booked band, like actually sound checking the drums while I was playing and stuff, and just being like,
Oh God, what time was it at? Or was it the
it would have
literal
been at like
opening?
noon or something. And
Yeah.
shout out Triple J, no whinge. It's just like you kind of like have these expectations. And so I definitely have a very different approach to all of that back then, where it was all super foreign and but also like super exciting and just like the world's gonna end if like I muck this up.
I think they're the moments as well that really build an artist, in a sense, like those starting moments that, you know, you're slogging out the first spot at a festival. Like it's hard to win people over. They're not necessarily going to know entirely who you are apart from the crew that you've got in the crowd. But
I think that resilience that you were talking about is a real big one as well. Of like, if you feel like if you fuck it up, it's all over. Like you are not getting another shot again. You've just had your lose yourself moment and the vomits on the sweater, and you are not cleaning up. But when you do like get through that, and it's not how you thought it was going to be, you're like, oh well, it's just on to the next thing. Cause I'm not just going to give up now, am I? So I think that's the big building block that I've noticed through those experiences. Like
100%.
the thick skin.
And do you think there's, like, on the topic of, because it sounds like at the start of your career was a lot of live stuff. Like it was pretty much like touring about, really meeting people in person. So we spoke, I think, to the last guest we had on, or actually it was Toby, just about how now things are kind of, although there's the festivals and stuff, things are shifting to a lot like online. And like it's quite different now to that sort of thing. Like, have you noticed that shift within you where you still want to kind of get out there and into the festivals, but also have that sort of like online presence and more of a polished thing in the studio? Like, was that like a changeover, like a switch?
Yeah, definitely. I think I just like I didn't want to show that I was taking it seriously for like ages.
Why do you think?
Just 'cause it's vulnerable,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know? And just like being young in the head. And now it's just like, you know, what a privilege to have a platform.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah. And be able to put yourself out there like that. It is a daunting thing though. But like I think there's so much strength within vulnerability.
I've just always sort of freaked out on the online space too. And I'm always so grateful for like any support, you know what I mean? But I think I'm the only person in the world that doesn't always vibe social media. Like we're at a pretty hectic time with that. And I think just being who I am and, you know, there'd be a lot of stuff that you would navigate as well, Nita. And it's like, remember those early days when I was unearthed and I did one of the first like NAIDOC collaborations, and this producer, and he's still cranking, and he's Kieran, and he's a young Indigenous producer, and they were like, oh, you've got to do something together. And he'd already released this track as it was called Achilles, and he gave me a different beat pat, but I didn't like any of them, and we only had 24 hours, and I was living in Adelaide, going to Chasm, and I was living in like a full-blown college and stuff. And I remember telling one of my mates there, like, oh, I've got to do this track for Triple J, and they're like, oh, yeah. And none of us realised, like, that it was quite a wicked opportunity at the time. And so I ended up, like, asking Kieran, like, oh, I know you've already released this track, but I'm vibing it. And I came up with this song, Wolves. And it was all like promoted and stuff, put it out, and there was just like some hell comments early on just about how I looked and, you know, like not being black and all of this, and I just dipped on it real quick.
Yeah.
And for years, like I just didn't even invest in the space, and I invested in live shows because I was just like, I don't even have the time or energy, and I'm naturally pretty feisty, and it would just take up my time. And so I just dipped on it. And so pretty much like there was a time there where I had a good like 1,000 or like 1,200 followers or something. I reckon apart from the 200, I'd pretty much like shaken everyone's hand and been like, yo, follow me, and had made an interaction. So I'd sort of curated a space where I didn't have any of that shit because I didn't have a broad audience. And then that sort of changed over time. And now it's something that I've got to sort of learn to manage. And now I've got a son, it's like I've got to learn strategies for when that happens of how to deal with it because it's not going away.
No, it's not. Yeah, I know exactly what
Sorry
you're talking about.
But yeah, it's like it's just such a expectation on the artist now, like to have that space under handles, and it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it well, like good on you, because it's like it's hard. And it's just like feels like now it's like 20% of the work is making the song.
Yeah.
Yes, 80% of an artist is being a social media personality. It's like normal people aren't meant to like hack social media the way they do. And then when you're an artist, it's like, here's all my deepest thoughts, personalities, and my hobbies. Here's all to criticize.
Yeah.
That's it. Some people, you can, I think as well, I hear a lot of people that they mention this. It gets brought up nearly every artist I actually talk to, regardless of how big they are or not. But then I think there's like a massive strength in just like adapting to the time as well. And it's going like, rightio, this is like the playbook here, and this is finding a niche way that you can do it yourself that isn't going to fucking take absolutely everything out of you. But yeah, it is really challenging as well, especially when you're getting comments on like that, because you have random people completely attacking your identity and they don't know you. And, you know, when it's something as sensitive as culture and as close to the heart and spirit like that, it is challenging to navigate. It really is. And it's very easy to sit there and bite back, you know, and to have that ferociousness in response.
Bro, when Strongest Mob popped off, like I hadn't been on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then I obviously like uploaded to TikTok or whatever. I spent 3 days, man, like just deleting comments.
Yeah, I saw them. They were.
And like I was so blown away. It was only a couple of months ago because I'm just not like, I'm savvy when I want to be, but like I'm not super savvy, not when it comes to techie stuff. But I was like doing something and then realized that there's a whole hidden folder section. I was like, no, just don't even look in there.
Like the hidden comments bit. Yeah.
Folder section.
I've never
So
had
on
a
TikTok, they'll like hide comments that are obviously like racist, bullying, but you can still look at them.
Oh, so it's like
they must be like
considered offensive.
Like and they must moderate. But anyway,
and it's all good, but then it's like I jump on tracks like Land Back with 3% and they go, oh, why are people getting so upset? It's just a bit more like I've curated my life to be around like-minded people, and so it's not that I forget about it. It's like I've taken a bit of refuge in not having to expose myself like I used to in a lot more of an activism brain. Which there's still a lot of that there, but it's more like, I don't know, educate or let it go. And I have to learn that. Like, it's a learnt skill.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. And I think as well, like the sort of things that I've reflected on is those that know me know who I am, you know? So I don't need to prove myself to anyone. I know who I am, and the people I love know who I am, and that's the most important thing. And I think it's really, I love what you said there about learn to kind of like let go or educate. Like that's really powerful in saying that. But you mentioned Strongest Mob, which I wanted to unpack because that song is deadly and I think changed like so much stuff here.
Did a lot.
I'm pretty sure they had it in university. People were studying it. They brought it up at countless things that I've done with workshops and working with young fellas and stuff. But that was, that's such a big song for you. What does that track mean to you?
Oh, game changer.
Yeah.
And I think I just like, I was steady in my approach to making something like that. And I was actually really hesitant. And looking back, like I'm glad I took the risk. Because I thought there was a gap that needed something not something, it needed to have the light put on it. And I feel like hip hop became this really strong vehicle because I was doing a lot of work with youth through theatre and just through different things and just seeing how hungry they were, and coming from a more political background, but then also seeing how much the kids miss out because they're not participating in politics, and then just going like they're always missing out. And I just thought it was time. And I wanted something that was staunch but like proud and celebratory, but still had the fire. I just think there's a lot of, like, pardon the pun, but there's a lot of trauma porn when it comes to black arts and black music, and just wanted to put a spanner in the works of something really proud and staunch and show what's happening in Tassie. I just felt like I spent so much time cruising around telling people we're still here. And then there was different changes, and we've had some breakthroughs and stuff, and there's been a lot of social change through the arts in Tassie, and I'm a big advocate for that. But until those things, I felt like I was just doing that all the time, and I just sort of really got jack of it.
Yeah.
And and a lot of festivals and different people at the time early on was sort of, I'll put you on first and you can do a welcome, and sort of just like convoluting all my things and going,
Into one thing,
Yeah.
And and like I remember even when I recorded Lutruwita, I had like half an hour left in the studio with Nerve when I was recording Runaways, and I just was like, oh, actually, can we just do one more thing? And made the a cappella track for Lutruwita, and it's the same, Lutruwita, Mind Eater, Strongest Mob. I think, a lot of educators use it because one, music is so good with learning language. It's just something in the brain, that, and it's helped me a lot because it's like, later in life, learning new things definitely gets harder, and especially language. So I just thought, it was time. Hip hop's a wicked vehicle. Young people are into it.
It is, and I think it's even
Shout
not
out
just
Craig Everett.
and the music video is, I think, is such a powerful voice as well.
Yeah, shout out Lockie Hamill.
Yeah, big shout out. It really like visualizes the cultural aspect to it as well, doesn't it? And I think it shows that like that was filmed like down here as well, and like a lot of people.
Creek.
Yeah, and
like,
a lot
we
of
went tuna fishing and stuff beforehand
because
we were like,
and stuff.
we're like, how are we gonna feed all these people? Like, so many people were rocking up, and then one of Nita's mates is just like, the tuna's on, like be ready at like 6 o'clock sort of thing, and off we went and like caught
Did you get some tuna?
Bro, I caught like a
Denni fought a seal the
18
day
kilo,
before.
like an 18 kilo albacore.
Wow.
Which is like just another sort of tuna. There's like bluefin and like albacore.
Yeah.
But the seal got him, and so I still got it in the boat. But seals have got like, what is it? Oh no, I've forgotten. Seals have got a hectic disease, and so, not salmonella, maybe, but something hectic.
So you like so you
And
chopped
if
it
they
in
bite
half.
If
Right.
they even just like nick it, then
It's just
you
done,
can't,
toast.
Can't eat him. But I
Yeah.
obviously still wanted to get him in the boat.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Got it in the boat, and like seals, they're one of those things where you just like, we've characterized them as like happy seal, and it's like you see them on the Mooka Man, and they're
devils.
savage.
Yeah, they are.
They're evil.
Yeah, but he's like come up the boat and he's like looked at me, man, like
Oh, for real?
Fish, and then he's like gone under the boat and he's gone up the other side and he's clapping and
Oh shit.
yeah, it was
Full staunching
cool.
ya.
Yeah.
Took me fit. Yeah, wow. That's a mad yarn though.
yeah.
That's cool.
It was a once. I'm like, cool. I've been tuna fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's such a powerful song though, I think as well such a special song as well. And like that's like timeless art. like that will live far beyond your time as well.
Oh, I
you know,
appreciate that.
like that's
Nita.
timeless stuff. There's certain music that's made and it's very within its time and its era and whatnot, and you're like, oh, within 50 to 100 years, people are not necessarily going to listen to that, but that's timeless music.
Definitely.
And I think, yeah, that I'm even proud to just know that that's a piece of the culture that I'm tied to as well, you know, because it'll be timeless. I'll be able to show my young fellas that and their mates, and just as people are already doing now.
Yeah, like,
you know, so
everyone in the video, they're youngins, and then they're young.
Yeah, they're going to do that,
everyone,
which
like,
that's crazy, you know, and the yarns that will spark from that and just the storytelling and the connection. I think that's really important. You know, those young fellas that are in that music video, the connection they have to that their kids will have, and you know, it's it's deadly.
Recently, like, got a young fella up. I had this show here, Festival of Voices, and I got to perform with the Indigenous choir from Cairns, a youth choir.
I saw that,
and that was just so cool. But this young fella that supports my music, and he lives down here locally, and anyway, he'd been hitting me up, and I said, I'm actually playing in town soon, Nita, if you can get there, I'll get you on the door and that. And anyway, he always sends me these videos singing Strongest Mob and and whatever. And so I wasn't going to do the song, and then he got there, and halfway through I went, oh, are you here, man? And I was like, sort of, you know, are you here? And he's like, yeah. And I see where it sounds. I was like, all right, then, you know, better do Strongest Mob, and made him come down. And he did it with me, and like since I've sort of found out that was like a really big thing for him to do, and was a part of him overcoming something. And how cool, you know, music does stuff like that where, you know, because you're putting your heart into something, you're putting all your intent into something, and, you know, you don't know where the ripples will go. And I still very much have a bit of a, you know, my own philosophies and ways of approaching things and why I do things. And I think that's probably why I keep it to myself, because what I put out, I've put a lot of thought and heart into, you know, and sometimes I still look back at the cliff and I spin out, but, you know, and I look a lot different now to then, but it's like, yeah, it captures like you said, it captures a time, and I think that's just a part of good storytelling too. And, you know, I had a lot of support to get there, and that was shown in the clip too. It was very much you got to be able to see it to be it, and just the response from young people, and the pride I think it gives them, and like to see that I'm not shame.
Yeah.
And, you know, they don't have to be shamed too. I think that's like just probably been the biggest win out of it.
Yeah, it's strength. It is. It's Bangana. Like, it's really strong and powerful. So you should be immensely proud of that. And your young boy is going to be able to grow up and show all his crew that and be like, this is my mum. Look at this, this is my mum. But we need that. And I speak about that so much with people through cultural yarn is that strength and to be proud, you know, like it's really strong. And you spoke a bit about storytelling there, and I wanted to unpack like the importance of storytelling for you through your music, even from the, I guess, like the cultural aspect, and also just the importance of that yarn and storytelling to you.
Oh, well, I think it's everything. Really, it's what it stemmed from for me. It was never to like be something or do something, and I think that's why the only way I can articulate it without sounding like a peanut, like, oh, I just got here. It's like, not at all. But I think I always had struggles telling yarns, and you know, there's parts of my story that I don't want to tell, but have shaped, you know, aspects of who I am. And I think I needed it, you know, and there's been points in life where that was all I had. And, you know, I got myself there, but it was like, that's all I had. And it's probably some of those times where I've made the best stuff because I had nothing else. So, you know, and that's not a unique story, but for me, I think I just always think at the end of the day, if everyone has something to share, but the sharing's really hard, you know, like even from a young age, we're taught like show and tell. And it's just like sharing something that you care about is really hard.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to talk about something you actually don't give a fuck about. Like,
100%.
it's like, oh, here's this useless bit of information I have, but the thing I'm passionate about.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, it's sacred, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
it
why,
does. It
because if
feels
anyone
precious.
attacks that, like, that's going to fucking upset and hurt you.
100%.
Yeah.
It's sacred and vulnerable, and that's why, it's an interesting thing. And to kind of reflect back on show and tell and stuff, you would think, like, this is my really sacred thing, and I protect this with everything I have. And, so I think that's why it's can be quite hard, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've just like grown more within that as well, you know, like there's a version of myself on stage where it's like I'm not that person every day. And when I look back sometimes, like I did these big awards recently at the town hall in Melbourne, and it was like I did a red carpet and stuff, and just the anxiety was more about like, what do you mean there's a red carpet? You know, like there's no shops in Tassie, man. And, but it was like I look back at that video and I spin out of it because it's just like that's a whole other version of me, and it's wicked. And you know that probably just helps me see growth over time as well.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's powerful stuff, the storytelling. I think for me, when I kind of look at that and how I've learned and made sense of life, it's all through yarn and unpacking whatever's going on in my head, and it's so good to see that other people like yourself are creating art in that sort of way and passing down knowledge as well.
Well, I think like, you know, just even culturally, and not to talk too much to things, but just that there is importance in what you're talking about, the people you're gathering, and your intent and all of that. And I've just always found that stuff, you know, I haven't wanted to mess with that stuff. I've wanted to learn, and I just sort of feel like coming into a place where a lot of those things that felt really like, you know, the stuff I do with dance and welcomes and cultures over here, and the stuff I do with theatres over here, and the stuff and it was all just like sort of slowly building to being, you know, a bit of a full-bodied artist, and that can sort of see visions through from, you know, and it feels cool to be at that point, but it also feels like a lot more pressure now, and there's an expectation, and at the end of the day, it's all a bit of a mental war. Like, no one really gives a shit whether I'm going to put something out or not. Like, they'll probably think it's cool, and there'll be a lot of people that get stuff from it, but no one's sitting around going, wonder when Denni's going to put this thing out. You know, I've got to feel like it's means something, and I think it's getting there.
Yeah, cool. That's deadly. Another art form that you've been getting into is painting as well.
That was my next question. Fuck, I was like sitting here like finding a little gap in the middle.
Yes, yeah.
Go for it then, brother.
Yeah, well, like, you had an exhibition recently. How'd that come about?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think it's just like painting and art. So like my first love was drawing, and so that was my excuse. Like, oh, I'm going off to be a tattooist, because it made sense to people, even though it was outside of what I was doing. And like I was nursing at the time and drinking at the pub 5 nights a week. Like, there wasn't much, you know. And so it was always something that was just for me, and I didn't really want to turn it into work in the end, I don't think. And I don't like pressure on it. Like, I don't like, oh, you've got this amount of time to do that when it comes to painting and stuff. But it's like any craft, like the more you hone in on it, the easier that part gets. Like now, you know, with a bit of a new schedule and stuff, it's not like I can just, you know, have that raw energy we were talking about before. It's like, oh, it's 3 a.m. I've got an idea. I'm going to stay up. I'm like, write it down, you know, do it tomorrow when you've got that time in the arvo, and just do it. And like, I've been finishing off some tracks, and like I wrote a song in 3 days. And so then I was like, had 2 more songs to finish, and I'm freaking out going, well, I've only got this amount of time, and it just took me 3 days, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just don't think about it so much. Just get into it and enjoy the process, because if I could give advice to myself, that would be. And same with painting. It's just like, just enjoy the process of it, and things will come when it's time to show. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, it was wicked to have the opportunity as well to just like do some work at home. And so I painted in the backyard for like 3 months, and by the end of it, Leonie had a little can, you know, that was empty, and when I'd be painting, he'd be there rattling the can. I'm like, cool, this is, you know, it's pretty cool, because I've just always wanted to stay in the arts and not sort of have to, you know, work in hospital or something, because I did a lot of odd jobs, you know. I worked at Macca's, man. But, like,
ground up.
but yeah, I just sort of like anything in the creative field that I could do, I'd put my hand up to, even if I couldn't do it.
Yeah, word.
Get
Would you
help.
say like the painting was a bit more freeing then, as that was that like thing with no pressure, and then when it got to the point of like, oh, I've done heaps of this, we could probably do a little show. It wasn't that like, I'm gonna get to the point of a show. It was that freedom of flow.
Yeah, and it was like a local opportunity come up, like a wicked Sawtooth Studio, shout out in Lonnie, and so there was just like some support there to do something. So it was really helpful for me, and I just had fun in the process again, because it was definitely something I put down for a while, and because sometimes you can be too close to stuff. Like in music stuff, I've often got other people to do designs and things for me, even though, you know, I can do art pretty well. But I think sometimes you can have too many ideas, and it just sort of is, spaghetti on the jumper.
No, it's cool though. I think having different avenues to put out your creativity, it's really good, because I feel like it kind of fills the cup of each one when you're not focusing on it. So if you have, like, for instance, your music, and that feels a bit like pressurized or something, you're like, oh, I'm going to paint. Then as you're doing that, that'll inspire you to it links in. I think I unpacked it recently at this youth event, and I just said to the young people, I said, you don't just have to do the one thing. There's so many different creative avenues that can all tie into each other, that really will bring such a sense of like groundedness and belonging within the chaotic realm of creativity, because it's so much shit going on. If you're a creative person, your brain is mental. You're like thinking of this and this, that, and that. And then I'm calling Herman at like 4 a.m. like, bro, we got to do this. So it's just
that's the thing. That
all
happens.
over the place. But no, it's really cool that you have that. But on the topic of creativity and what you showed us a little sneak peek of before,
we only got one.
We only got one. But I actually do have the full link, so maybe I can go back. No, I won't.
We'll have a few beers tonight. Like, let's just listen to them all.
Let's just listen to it. But you're working on a bit of a project.
Yeah.
What's the vision? What's the direction? What's the, as much as you are willing to share with us, obviously, in the...
Well, it's only taken like 14 years, but I'm going to cut my first album.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Massive.
Sick.
It sounded great from the 3 minutes we've heard. Fuck yeah, I'm fucking loving it.
Yeah,
huge. What's the idea? What's the message of it? What's the education, and what's the kind of vision that you have with what you want to push with it?
It's crazy, you know, because I've only really ever worked with singles or like putting little EPs out and stuff, and so they feel like quite quick processes. And I've probably been working on this one for like well over 2 years. And I've done some collabs in between and stuff to just keep things cooking, and been really grateful for that. But, you know, it's not very me to have a clear idea at the start. It's just like see what lands and then go from there. And I had a few songs that were like that were just like got some beats, and off the My Bars of Steel, I thought, I kind of really want to record that. So I was in another time, gnarly spot, and I look back and just go, oh my fucking God, like, I was in such a hectic place, and like I could barely breathe and stuff, and I just like, you know, I got emotional, and I was just like, it's all good. I'm so grateful for it, because it's just like, it's humbling, you know, looking back in your timeline and just going, oh well, at least I did it. You know? And that was really cool, and that was sort of because I was in town doing the Land Back verse, and so I sort of hustled that in, and I remember I wrote it in like 2-3 days and had to remember it and then like go in and do it, and it was a lot. And I'm glad I did it. But then I was like, I really want to record this because it's like it's a good song.
Jeez, you did well to remember it. Did you read it off your phone?
Nah.
Jeez, that's a good
Have
effort.
you seen the video?
I have.
It's
Yeah.
fucking
I
heavy,
remember.
like,
Yeah.
to pack all that, heavy. For 3 days and packing that in, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was on, and that was an AO beat, and it was just a beat that was left over from some stuff that he'd sent me when I was doing Runaways, and so it had sat there for like well over like years, and then so when that opportunity come for Bars of Steel, I was a bit disassociated at the time, and I didn't have much, and so I was like went searching and then found the beat and was like yay, and it just sort of it come pretty quick because I had a lot to probably talk about, and so that was cool. So that was the first one that was like I need to record this, and then it sat there, and I actually recorded it with Jack McLean
Jack
out of Sumner and in Lonnie, and then that's just sat there for like 2 and a bit years. And then I had another track, Eagles High, which is Quaid in Newcastle. And that's had like so many different flips on it. And then that just sat there too. And then it just kept going like that. And so I got I've got no features. I've done pretty feature heavy stuff, and so it's probably time to just do a Denni album, and so more, it's sort of like collabing with producers. They're sort of the feature, and so I've got AO, shout out. I've got Rory, who actually made the Land Back 3% beat, and I just really loved the beat, and so I looked into his stuff, and so I got a couple of Rory tracks, which was really dope, and it really sort of elevated where stuff was going. And then I've bought a beat from overseas, and I've just sort of like curated sonically my vision of like hip hop, but with lots of different elements.
Well, we just heard that then before. It definitely has quite literal elements in it as well. But yeah.
So biggest shout out would be Callum Ball, who's, you know,
he's engineered the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty well at this stage. And just like really enjoying the process, and he's just got such great musical ear as well. I think coming for me, not just from like a heavy rap background, like working with someone who is still very hip hop, but has a really musical ear and understanding, and sick. So, and Callum's got a beat on there, which is wicked. Hope I'm not missing anyone.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you start listing people off, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, cool. Do you have a name?
Butterflies Don't Sleep.
So that the song that you showed us was the title track then?
It feels like it, yeah.
Mad. I think that's a really good title track, to be honest.
The title of Denni's upcoming album.
Yeah, this have you announced it at all yet?
No.
Oh, there you go. Bang. Official announcement right here. When's, I suppose, is it kind of coming to those final stages now? I guess it is. When do you think that it could be?
You know, it would be lovely to think that I'll drip some stuff out this year, but we'll see. It's like I'm just learning to, you know, you can only plan so much.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've got a couple of days left to get my side of it done, and we'll move into a bit more of a production head with it, and start getting into the other fun stuff.
Mad. Exciting.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. First album.
I've got a few live shows between then that I reckon I'll start putting some shit on stage anyway.
Yeah. So you haven't performed any of the tracks yet?
I have a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad.
I have a couple, which has been nice because it's like, you know, I love Strongest Mob. I love all of that. It's like after you've been doing it a few years, you know, I'm pretty keen for a new catalogue.
Yeah.
You want to play a new set?
Yeah. Well, your music, no doubt, has evolved. You know, all the recent changes in your life, and just as an artist anyway, your music changes.
Yeah.
Like I feel the same thing. Like I'm still playing songs sometimes live from 2020, and I'm like, bro, I make way different shit now.
Yeah.
So it is exciting expressing that and seeing like, how is this going to be taken in, and those newer art forms that you're making. That's really exciting though. Thanks for showing us that. Yeah. I feel kind of a bit honoured for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you just thought it was all right.
No, it's
good.
fucking
killer.
Yeah,
it's good.
Killer.
I really like what I said before and how you spoke, that cinematic feel to it. Like you're in the cinemas and they like play that intro thing and it's like you can hear the mountain waterfalls over here and shit and it's all popping up.
It sounds
it sounds really good. That's exciting though.
And so it's crazy. It's like the pieces, you know, because that was the last track, and so the album sort of had already a few different. You know, you should do things in stages, but I like to think of everything at once all the time, and it's very tiring. But I sort of, you start to like themes start to evolve and. You know, little threads and stuff that pop up because I think I very much like to write more, just like a bit of a catalyst vibe and what comes and then build on something that's cool.
Yeah.
Rather than go in with like a strong idea about what a song's about. But then I've also, because I don't do that often, there's a few tracks there where I've had gone nuts about this.
Yeah.
And then given myself some form, you know, which is really cool. And I think, you know, some of the themes are probably just some of the stuff we've been talking about, like just it's very much about endurance and sort of like getting to your fly time, you know, and that's sort of like butterflies don't sleep, legit, and they've got a short lifespan.
Do they actually not sleep?
Yeah.
Or they don't?
Yeah.
Don't they only live for a couple of days as well?
Like once maybe like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, okay. But they don't sleep. I did not know that. When I saw the title before, I was going to ask, but I was like, oh, do I look dumb for asking this shit?
Like,
because I didn't know.
So a few days with Bender, then they just get into the psychosis and they sleep and then they just cark it, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool then. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that is really cool.
Which, like, you know, butterflies are, you know, worldly symbol of different things, but for me, I've been aligned with that pretty well from the start, and it was very much based on sort of a bit of a nod to my grandmother, and I wrote this like little, I wouldn't even say it was a poem or a haiku, I'm not sure, but it was just like, as the caterpillar knows its journey, so must we. I remember when I wrote that, I thought it was pretty good. And it just sort of encaptured that of just like, you just got to go with it and give yourself the time to grow. Like, it can't happen overnight. And I've very much been a slow burn artist and a DIY artist, but, you know, ground up and, you know, if I get credit for things, it feels a bit better these days because I feel like I'm getting to a place of earning it, you know, so.
The butterfly has found its flowers, you could say.
Flutter, yeah.
But I have seen actually the butterfly themed a lot throughout like your career, like here and there. I think like in one of your main logos, it's like a butterfly, isn't it?
Yeah. At the moment, it's like an angry butterfly. Tom O'Hearn, who's a local artist around here. Man. I really loved his stuff, and I just sent him a few notes like, you send me like a angry butterfly that's sort of like got tiger teeth or whatever.
Sick.
And he sent me back some wicked stuff.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's like a full circle moment then with having the debut album and then that's the kind of title. Yeah. Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm keen for it to be out and to listen to the full thing. Technically, I probably could, but I won't. We'll have to get Denni to like lock the link or something. So no, we won't.
The privacy settings are changing as soon as this podcast over. I can feel it.
No, that's exciting times. That's just really cool. There's a question that I always like to kind of end on, and it's interesting. But to be completely honest, we've kind of just unpacked a lot of it throughout the conversation.
Yeah,
but
it's been a good party.
What would you say your why is?
What else would I do?
Yeah, there you
Like,
go.
I'm just that far down the line, you know. I've just got a couple of like segments, and then I'll probably try and head out bush somewhere.
Yeah, go kick back.
Yeah, go and kick back somewhere. I think, yeah, my why now is just to keep remembering why. Like, you know, I was very much just in the wind for a lot of years and did me well and got me in a lot of sticks and, you know, but that's fucking life, man. And I've built a life out of music, so now I'm going to live a life of music. Just, I think that's it. You know, until I can picture something else, so I'll keep sort of manifesting here. But if anything, I'd just probably see hip hop will have a life in time, and I'll probably move into something a bit more acoustic again. Just because that's sort of where my heart is. But for now, I'm getting lots of energy out of this new shit, and I hope people do too.
Man, cool.
And just like big ups to you guys too, just
Thanks.
like holding it down here and, you know, elevating the community and getting a lot of shit talk out of me. Done well.
I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like we want to continue to build this space here and to go off what the scaffolds already are. It's important, you know, and it's important to have people like yourself coming in and sharing yarn and inspiring young artists, young female artists as well. It's taken us 14 episodes to get a female guest on, and that's not by choice. It's you know, awesome. Obviously within the community here, there's not a lot of female artists, so I always pay so 100%. Much homage and respect to those females that do go against the grain, especially in hip hop and stuff. You know, it can be fucking brutal. And there's,
you know, that was sort of what we touched on at the very top of just, you know, like now on top of all of that, like being a black female artist in Tasmania in like a very male dominant space. And, you know, sometimes a very still uneducated space. And I think those times, you know, got to have faith that change comes. And I think like the arts is pushing so much of that down here, and music is pushing that so much. And I think everyone just keep pushing. And yeah, that's my only why. Is like I'm a bit of a shark. I'm better swimming, you know. I'm not that good when I stop. Give me something to do, you know.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Keep swimming. We'll end it on that one. Thank you for coming along, Denni. I appreciate it. Obviously, all Denni's stuff will be in the description. Go check it out. Hopefully, this album's out soon and we can start seeing a bit of the new stuff you're creating. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Cool. Let's go.
Yeah. Turn off the camera.